Blue.
Yay!
We're all in blue.
And green and lovely spring colours.
Yes.
Where are you in blue? I
Natalie is
can't
a
see it.
darker
I'm
blue.
looking confused because I don't think you're in blue. You look.
Ooh,
What colour are you wearing now? That's not
me?
blue. Yes.
Ooh,
Oh, it didn't look blue from where I'm sitting. It looks
look,
green, actually.
has sort of, no, it's a sort of aqua marini colour.
Aqua Marina.
Yes.
Aqua Marina. Oh my gosh, do you know, you've broken a thing. When I was a child, I just wanted to be her. I thought Marina was the most beautiful creature on this planet, and she didn't talk. But
Yeah.
I wanted to be her when I grew up.
Oh, how
Yeah.
lovely.
She was so many men's perfect women because she didn't talk.
Well, that's exactly what my father used to say. I think that's why my mother created her, actually. The perfect woman.
Yeah,
Perfect woman.
Yeah.
How did she get the image? What do you think? Did she base Marina on a real person?
Well, I think she based everyone on real people, but only sometimes. It's like with Lady Penelope. It was my eyes, apparently, when I was a kid, the shape. But she directed Mary Turner, and it ended up looking like my mother because my mother kept saying, "Oh yes, I like that shape face, have that," and then Mary thought, "It's becoming suspiciously like her," and it ended up being her.
Amazing.
Anyway,
absolutely
who's
amazing.
our guest? Who's our guest?
Who's our guest?
Ah, I know who our guest is. We spoke to her probably about a year ago, but she's just an amazing, amazing lady. And she's going to tell us a breakthrough in health. And it's the lovely Suzanne Chalkley.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome back.
Hi.
Lovely to see you, darling. Lovely in pink.
Oh, yes, Pretty in Pink, my favourite movie.
Very spring-like. How have you been? Tell us what you've been doing.
Well, I've been doing lots and lots since we last spoke. One of the main, I trained in more detailed health products and products, but technologies. And one of them is bioresonance therapy. So a lot of people don't realize, but your body's designed to heal itself. And quite often what's happening, especially in today's society, we're running off to the doctors to get prescriptions and pills to help cure the ills, but the reality is your body's actually been designed to heal itself. And so it's all frequency. You know, if you go to touch somebody, get a little electric shock. That's how everything works in the body, through frequency and vibration. So a bioresonance treatment will actually correct the frequency pattern and help your body to kickstart its own healing. Wow. Exciting, really exciting technology.
How does that work, Suzanne? Is it can you do it? I know you're based in Northern Ireland, so do you have to actually visit you in person to do that?
No, not at all. I mean, I have a really busy clinic doing, people that like coming because then they'll get some dietary advice and help and support on lifestyle, and I do coaching as well. But the system can actually be done using people's DNA. So the way you've got your own thumbprint. Everybody's got unique thumbprint. So your own DNA is unique, and you have your own signature frequency. So the treatment actually can be done remotely and using DNA. But what we do is we do a consultation, and we'll actually give a time frame where I'm doing the treatment. So the person would be relaxed and maybe in an evening going to bed, and I'll actually work on their healing, their bioresonance healing, and be able to give them full rundown on their health, their digestive health, whether they've got parasites and bacterial imbalances or viruses. And there's so many viruses going around at the moment. It's ridiculous. So many. It's affecting people's health.
Yeah, because actually, I mean, do you feel that are you, let's say, tentative about putting this out? Because I know that there's been a lot of talk about if you come up with too many cures, the pharmaceutical people aren't going to be happy because of the money they're going to lose.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
how does that, yeah.
Well, because this would be seen as alternative, I mean, people are, everybody coming to me is all by word of mouth, to be honest. I have just started Instagram recently, because I had it for ages but never posted anything. And my daughter, who's a photographer, said, "Mum, for heaven's sake, would you put yourself out there? Because I mean, I'm dealing a lot with people who have just different health problems that they're not getting any answers from through, going to the doctors, going to, taking medications. And they come into me and all of a sudden I discover there's parasites in their gut. And we treat the parasites and all of a sudden their energies are back. They're sleeping again. They don't have digestive disturbances. They're not feeling bloated. I mean, it's amazing that a
How have
parasite...
you figured that out? How can you tell? What, from the blood?
No, we don't test blood. The machine will put in whether we know somebody, what their blood group is, so we can be more specific when we're doing the treatment. But we don't use blood. Well, the DNA sample, if somebody is remote, say for example, somebody in America wants treatment and they'll send me their sample of DNA, which is normally a nail clipping, some hair, just a couple of strands, but ideally with the hair follicle attached, not cut hair, because it's not as detailed, and a salivary sample, or if they want a little lancet and do a little blood spot. So the more DNA samples I get, the more specific I can be in the treatment. But what actually happens is every cell, organ and tissue in your body resonates at its own unique frequency pattern. But equally, so does virus, parasite, bacteria, and fungi. And so when we do the bioresonance scan, it will run through and it will actually measure the frequency pattern and be able to give me the details of what parasite, how strong, where it's at, what's happening. And it's just down to vibration and frequency. I think what makes it really exciting is even Albert Einstein said, and this was in the 50s, that the future of medicine is vibration and frequency.
And he's been proved to be very true on many counts.
Wow.
So if I wanted to have a treatment with you, Suzanne, how would I go about that?
Well, you just contact me directly. I'm available on at Suzanne Chalkley on my Instagram. The website is suzannechalkley.com, and you can book in. What we'll do is we'll a little consultation over the phone or through Zoom. I'll send you out little vials that you collect your samples of DNA, and then we'll check in a particular day and time that suits us both and do the treatment. Now, for me, working on somebody depends on what's going on, but a treatment could take me about an hour and a half to do for somebody. And that's not just finding out what's going on, that's doing corrective work. So some people, I mean, I had a little boy in the other day, and from October, he's been very sick. He's been off school loads and he'd be running around fine. And then as soon as he eats something, he gets very pale, purple under the eyes, very, very tired. And, the mum and dad just didn't really know what was going on. And so they came into me, and what it was a parasite that he had actually got when he was holiday in early October. They were away on holiday in Tenerife. And from that point, but they've been going to the doctors, and every time he was crying off school, they began to think, oh, he's just playing on it. But it was a parasite called Lamblia intestinalis. And when we treated it, the little boy within 24 hours was bouncing around, back eating without feeling sick. And that was just one treatment. So it's, it can be very specific. And some people, obviously if they've got more challenging health conditions, it can take a few treatments, plus maybe some nutritional advice, dietary advice. And I do even have clients and patients who have been diagnosed with very serious health conditions, and they're still undergoing the treatments with the doctors, but I'm just doing a support in the background to help boost their immune system. And then because we do some counseling and support that way, can just help people reframe things, because I'm sure you've all done the different things with regard to, thoughts create your reality. It's the same with health. And the bioresonance system can also delve into emotional issues. And a lot of people, their health problems are linked to emotional and trauma. And
it all makes complete sense. I do need to ask you something. In our previous show on Tuesday, we were talking to someone about blood groups. Now, I know that I'm rhesus negative O. And what do you know about the difference between rhesus negative and rhesus positive? Because this is a thing that fascinates me.
Yes. Well, my understanding is with rhesus negative, I'm rhesus negative as well.
I am.
And do you know, it's quite difficult for people to find out what their blood groups are because it's not routinely given out unless you give blood. But rhesus negative, apparently, we actually evolve from outside of this world.
Aliens.
Yes.
Aliens. Yes.
And it started in Northern Europe, apparently.
Right. Okay.
So that there's a cluster of people that where it started and where they still are really
Yes.
in Northern Europe.
Well, I mean, I've looked into it a little bit. The reason I found out was when I had my daughter, she was rhesus positive, I was rhesus negative, and she had to have she had an injection for whatever reason. I don't know the whole details, but that made me more aware of it. The other interesting fact is rhesus negative people, mosquitoes don't like us.
No.
Generally, they'll come and have a little nibble, and they're quite quick to run on because my father is a rhesus positive and mosquitoes love him. I mean, he ends up on holiday.
Oh no, I'm sorry, but mosquitoes like me.
Do they? Maybe you're sweeter than I am.
Yes, I'm much sweeter than you are.
Must
Sorry to
know
say
it.
that.
I don't believe that.
I don't know what blood group I am at all, but I never get bitten. I mean, they'll come and have a little nibble and then disappear.
Yeah.
Don't like it. They don't
I
like it.
don't know my blood group. How do you find out?
If you give blood, it's not routinely available. You know, it's unless you actually go and give blood, then they'll test you and then you'll get a little card. And
Are you Suzanne, are you rhesus negative O?
I am rhesus negative A.
Right, so I'm rhesus negative O, so that means I'm a universal donor. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm a universal donor, so I can give my blood to anybody.
Yes.
But no one can give their blood to me except rhesus negative O.
Right. Okay. Well, there we are. So that's might be because I'm A. Mosquitoes don't like me. Oh, mosquitoes might like you.
Might be the A bit. So my daughters are A and AB.
Uh-huh.
And I'm O. My mum was O. But there was always a chance. So I don't know if you remember when we were growing up that people used to have blue babies. Do you remember that expression?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's when the babies were born, they had to have blood transfusions.
Yes.
And that's because their parents didn't combine. The blood groups don't combine. And that's rhesus negative and rhesus positive. And that's why they have the injections. So even now, so it makes sense that we come from alien stock that didn't really combine completely with the others who were there before us.
There we go. There we go. It's a bit, well, my kids, they're 33 and 28. They would probably agree that I'm from alien stock. Absolutely, with my stuff I'm interested in.
But it's
Do
weird,
you believe
isn't it?
in UFOs, Suzanne?
Sorry?
Do you believe in UFOs?
I do. I was watching a program on it last night.
Because we had a whole discussion about that with our previous guest.
Wow.
And my parents produced a series called UFO, and they had to go to NASA to do the research. And as I said before, they came back saying, because they had to sign the Secrecy Act and they did the spacewalk, they said was terrifying. And they came back saying there are definitely UFOs and, aliens.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think we were saying why that wasn't publicized or why they wanted to keep it secret. And I think it would just cause world panic. That's why, I think.
Well, I think so much of that stuff. I mean, I from a little girl, I mean, I remember being interested in a lady called Doris Stokes. I don't know if you ever
yes.
Yes.
But I mean, I remember being 11 years of age and wanting that if my mum take me in to buy me a magazine, thinking I'd wanted Bunty, but I didn't. I wanted to, Doris Stokes' book, and I read all her books, and Dolores Cannon, and I listened to Abraham Hicks. I'm very interested in all of that. There's so much more to the world than what we can feel, touch, hear, and taste. Honestly, there is.
Yes, dimensions.
And that's maybe why with bioresonance, with the frequency, you can pick up so much more and start the body healing. Because for instance, if we broke our arm, you know, the body heals itself. It's not the doctor or the plaster cast. So there's a lot our body can do to help heal itself. But, you know, your mindset is equally very, very important as well.
I wanted to ask you, with your clients or your patients, how do their doctors react? Are they a bit dismissive, or are they happy to take it on board, or do they just not enter into it?
Generally, people don't, they know when they come, they're getting treatment with myself, they just kind of go, oh, I'm getting nowhere with, you know, it's not the doctor's fault, it's just the way things are at the moment. But most of them don't even want to mention it to the doctor. They're coming, getting the treatment, getting benefits, and like, that's great. There was one doctor actually came with their little boy to me, and that was, I was so nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, it's a doctor. But she was a young doctor, and she felt that the 6th course of antibiotics was just maybe there's something has to be done. But generally, I think they would be a little dismissive, but I think that is just the way they are trained to be. But there's a lot more to healing than just taking a tablet or, you know, cutting something out. I think, you know, you can create a lot of your own healing through changing your mindset as well. I think just being aware that there is more to your physical body than, you know, your blood and your bones and your brain and your heart. I mean, the heart is the most amazing organ, and it is the electromagnetic field. You know, it does so much. And your gut is known as your second brain. And the bacterial imbalance in your gut can affect your emotional health and depression. So there is so much more than just the physical here and now, and, you know, what you've got. I had some amazing results with people, and they were coming in, their health, and they just, because there's another technique I do called MCC. Now, it was created by a wonderful osteopath called Rafe McCutcheon, and his name MCC is based on his surname, and it's about trapped trauma. And use a little bit of kinesiology, muscle testing, and you just do little movements, and you can work on EMDR, which is eye movements. And oh my God, I had a lady who what she was holding on to was from she was 10 years of age, you know, and it was anger and resentment. So when it was affecting her health, her liver and her gallbladder, and it was nothing to do with her liver and gallbladder, really. It was to do with emotional stuff that she'd been held on to. And, you know, there's so much wonderful things that you can do by just understanding and listening to the body and listening to people. You can discover so much that's trapped. And, you know, people, once they let it go and once they improve their nutrition and improve their hydration, so much can be improved. It's amazing. It really is.
And believing it's going to be okay. Believing.
Oh, well, yes, do you know what? That is crucial. You know, if you believe you have some serious illness, even if you don't have it, you can create it by imbalance and frequency. Your thoughts do create your reality. 100%.
In everything, health, wealth.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely.
Natalie's mum was Eurasian, and she had a completely different, didn't she, Nat? She was very spiritual and believed in this sort of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely, through and through. But it was so funny when she died. Oh, actually, I'm going to go off at a tangent here. Well, you were talking about energies and things. I always think when somebody dies, like my mum, like your mum, Debbie, anybody who has had an incredible force and energy in your life, when they go, I can never, ever kind of believe that they've gone, just because where does that energy go? It's there. It's there for all time. It's like they're inside you. The energy that person has created on this earth, when they pass away, I can't believe that's gone.
The more I look in the mirror, the more I see my mother.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I think all she's done is metamorphosizing to myself and my daughter and my grandchildren. So her energy is is there
Well,
everywhere.
that's a really comforting thought or feeling, isn't it? It really
Yeah.
is.
I have 3 grandchildren. Oliver's 7, and from he was very little, he would tell me about Nan. And that's my mum. My mum passed away, becoming 8 years now this year. And from he was little, he would tell me that Nan comes and reads him stories. So I was thinking, is he picking this up from hearing my daughter and I talk about stuff? And I said to him one day, I said, so what story does Nan tell you? And he said, oh, Lucky the giraffe. My daughter's face went ashen, because when she was little, my mum used to tell her stories about, she used to make up stories. She was very creative. Lucky the giraffe, and my mum would make up all these stories. And my daughter had never said to my grandson, Lucky the giraffe. She never repeated the story. So, at that point, we both went, that's definitely 100%.
That's it. Definitely.
Talking of dimensions, do you remember the beautiful actress Jenny Linden? She was in Women in Love with Glenda Jackson. And I remember her once, because we had a mutual friend who was passing away. And she said, it's all right, because the weaker that he gets here, the stronger he's getting where he's going. And that has always been a comfort when you're going to lose somebody.
That's lovely.
It really was. And I've never forgot her saying that to me.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it is really comforting, I have to say. I had a beautiful big fluffy black cat called George, and unfortunately a few months ago he got knocked down, and I was beside myself. I was really, I've loads of animals and I just love them all equally, but I was very upset when George passed away. And I also go to somebody for Reiki and healing, because even though I do a lot myself, sometimes I do like to go to somebody else for their healing methods. And she said to me, she said, oh, can I tell you everything that came through in the treatment? I said, oh, absolutely. She said, yeah, it was your mum called Margaret. And I said, yes. And she said, she just wants to tell you she has George with her. And of course, I burst into tears. Of all the things to be told, I burst into tears of the head of, my mum tell me that. She said, does that make sense? And I said, oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh.
That's lovely.
Oh, Suzanne, will you come back and tell us more, please?
Oh, I will. And I'll tell you lots more about the lovely, lovely little parasites that could be lurking in your body, and
How lovely. Thank you very
for
much.
you.
Thank you. All right, darling, it's so lovely to see you. This is really interesting. I'm going to look into this now. Definitely. I think we should all do this.
Yeah, we'll all
Suzanne,
send you a
don't
bit of our DNA.
Yeah.
Yes, if you message me, I'll send you out the little vials and pop them in, and then we'll arrange a time and we'll do some treatment.
Thank you so much.
Ooh,
thanks,
That's
darling.
wonderful.
Thank you. It was lovely to be on the show again. Thank you so much.
And you. Lots of love.
Bye.
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 Debbie, I think I'm your little parasite, and Dee, I think I'm your little parasite too.
No, not at all.
No,
Not
but I wonder if
parasite.
you are rhesus
You are
negative.
just
I wonder if you
gorgeous.
are, Natalie, if you're not bitten, but I know that I am. And
Yeah.
it's very interesting that an awful lot of actors that I know are as well.
Would
So I
it
wonder
actually say if you've had a blood test in the past, which I've got a while back, but would it actually say what you are?
maybe. Perhaps you
Maybe.
could just ask your doctor.
I've never known mine, actually.
I've always known mine. I've always known mine
Ooh.
because my mother, when I was born, because of the I'll tell you how you'll know if your babies had an injection and you had an injection when you were after your pregnancy, because they inject you with something so you won't have a miscarriage or something afterwards if if you're rhesus negative.
Aliens, mate.
Aliens,
Wow.
mate. Right, we
A
better
lot
go.
of research now. I'm going to read up on this. This sounds
Yeah.
fascinating.
Fascinating. I feel all deep and mystical.
Yes.
Okay,
See you
darling.
soon.
Well, listen.
Bye, guys.
See you next week.